We take you live now to Cape Town, where our reporter Athi Mtongana is stationed there. She, of course, was attending that media briefing that we just gave you live visuals to. Athi, talk to us about some of the profound sentiments that were shared during the media briefing today.
Was very common among some of the guests that were sharing their messages this afternoon is the fact that the Arch had a chuckle. He had a sense of humor even through the darkest times of the country, and even in the democratic dispensation he was able to share humor, but in that conveying very important messages. But I do have with me one of the panelists, Dr. Mpilo. Thank you so much, Mama, for your time. Now, you mentioned that this day going forward, Boxing Day, should be marked as a day of healing of some sort. Talk to us about those kind of sentiments.
Archbishop Tutu lived the values of Ubuntu, and he was chosen by Madiba to help us in the healing process post-apartheid through the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. That job of healing has not been completed, and it pained him to the last minute that we did not take advantage of the gift of Ubuntu to forgive one another, to reconcile with ourselves, because when you humiliate somebody, you are humiliating yourself. And when you accept humiliation, you are actually undermining God's purpose in having created us beautiful, equal as people. And this is why his life was a life of example of how we can love one another. So today I'm suggesting the best tribute we can pay to Desmond Tutu is to, from now henceforth, love one another. Love yourself first. Look after yourself. Look after everybody that is in your space. And make sure that you treat every human being, every live thing, every part of the ecosystem as yourself. Because we are all part of nature.
Mama, thank you so much for those very kind words. I just want to move on there now to the Archbishop Thabo Makgoba, who a few days ago shared a sermon, the Christmas Eve sermon at the St. George's Cathedral. And there, Arch, you mentioned how the Arch was not feeling well, and you asked the nation to keep Mama Leah, as well as now the late Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu, in prayer.
Thanks, Athi. And I need to publicly say, when you asked me, I was from the service. I had just prayed, and I didn't want to be an alarmist, but I was already indicating to the nation that we need to soak Emeritus in prayer. I was going to see him yesterday, and they needed our prayers. And now the good Lord has recalled our dearly beloved Archbishop, father, and friend, and I pray for condolences. I pray for Mama Leah, Mpilo, Trevor, Thandi, and Naume, and their loved ones. And may Desmond now rest and be released from his pain.
You speak about seeing him. Talk to us about the last time you saw him, and perhaps was he able to even speak in his ill state? Won't you describe your last encounter with him?
Well, we spoke every Friday throughout my ministry as Archbishop. We prayed. I had Mass there with him, and I went 4 days ago to do Mass at the family, and I promised to see him on Christmas Day, and I went and I did Mass with him. Yeah, he was frail, but typically him. He just gave me a smile and waved and was ever grateful. And say thank you, Thabo, thank you. And we've been planning and reflecting with him and the family, talking about his favorite hymns, saying we will actually work with the city and the government in ensuring that The church gives a lead in his Rukia Mass. There may be various other interfaith ecumenical services around that are being planned, but the detail will be announced. But he was somebody who was ever so gracious and ever so humbling each time I saw him.
And Mama Leah, do you know, at least at this stage, how she's doing? Have you seen her in the past couple of days, or at least in the lead-up to his unfortunate passing today?
I was, as I say, I was with Mama Leah and Archbishop Desmond Tutu and the children yesterday. And I was at his bedside this morning to go and do the Anglican rites when somebody has passed on. And yes, we do need to pray for Mama Leah, but she is a person of strong faith. But bereavement is bereavement. She will need our love and support. But I was with the family this morning and with now the late Archbishop Emeritus this morning.
Thank you so much, Arch, for your time. Archbishop Thabo Makgoba sharing some of his lost encounter moments with the late Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu. But we'll continue then to give you coverage of this particular press briefing. I'll talk to the chairperson of the foundation after the break.